Trash talking the other generations is going on everywhere these days, and it's nothing new. There was a singing group called The Who that recorded a hit song called My Generation back in 1965, complaining about how the older generations are just not understanding the boomers. People try to put us down talking about my generation. Now, YouTube's going to freak out if I add a clip of this song, so I'll put it down below. The Who's anthem could work for any generation that is coming of age. Right now, this would be Gen Z. These are the people who were born between 1995 and 2008. Looking back, we can see that each generation through history felt misunderstood and even ridiculed by the other generations. Let's go way back like 200 years to 1841 when Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Every generation laughs at the old fashions, but follows religiously the new ones." And in 1894, Oscar Wilde summarized the generations as, oh, the old, they believe everything. The middle aged suspect everything, but the young know everything. Each generation is adept at arguing why their team is best. What if we think about this a little bit differently? Each generation sees the world from a different perspective. The older generations are proud of what they learned from a lifetime of experience in the real world. They are proud of what their generation accomplished. They are aware, oh, everything didn't go exactly as planned, but they are happy to talk about what they did accomplish, especially in that one area of life that was like a quest for them. Of course, this falls flat on the younger generations who see the world as it is right now. That old stuff doesn't matter. It's not a problem now. They forget when you make a big change in one area of your life, you have to adjust everything else. And the younger generations just see what is not working now that the change has already happened. Each group sets forth to fix the problems that they alone see clearly. Each generation has a different set of problems to solve. Think of it like each is working on a separate part of a bigger puzzle of how do we make the world right for humans or right for new experiences. We are all too used to the common marketing versions of generations, which are great for complaining about things, but very light on explaining what to do with it. There are regular attempts to fix the models. For example, you often hear about them trying to smash a generation in between Gen X and the millennials, called the Oregon Trail generation. They've done this for a few of them. But there is a much older system that is actually far more accurate and doesn't need all this debate. And it comes with the added bonus of a huge body of wisdom built into it. This generational topic has fascinated me for most of my life. I've collected ideas and insights from my years doing technical design. This is like on newly invented computer devices. To be effective, I had to learn from the science. I had to learn neurobiology, about perception, pretty much about everything a human does as they experience their life. Sometimes the answers we seek come from unexpected places. That was one of the big lessons I got. I realized that the timing of the millennials and Gen Z aligned perfectly with the outer planet movements in astrology. The language of astrology does a much better job of describing the generations. And then it has this huge amount of untapped information that is available to clarify what is happening with each generation. So that's the topic of this series. I hope to clue you in on how to use this information so that you can design the life that you want. For example, everyone knows their zodiac sign, where the sun was on your birthday. All the other planets move through the zodiac signs too, but they go at different speeds. The outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, move so slowly that they correspond with entire generations. Now, I want you to remember that astrology is the collected wisdom of some of the greatest minds over the past 4,000 years. That's a lot of time to be studying something. And they figured out definitions and detailed relationships between every aspect of human life. This information is important now because most people are feeling the change that is happening, and it feels so unpredictable. Astrology can show us that this actually is an exceptional time of change. And it also gives us clues on how to design our way through this chaos. Pluto just made a permanent move into Aquarius. Pluto changing signs is the marker for the start of a new generation. It also provides a different challenge to each of the existing generations. Each one has a job to do, so that no one generation has to do everything. Our current time is exceptional in that Neptune is changing signs this same year. This is unusual to have two big zodiac changes at once. Where Pluto has to do with big social changes, Neptune has to do with the dreams of the generation. These are the stories that define us. We'll talk about this more, but do you identify more with Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter, or Game of Thrones? Or maybe even The Wizard of Oz? Each generation has stories like this that help to frame how we think about the world. And there's more. It's not just these two planets. Uranus is also changing signs. All three of the big generational planets are shifting during the same years. This is really rare, and this is why things feel so extremely chaotic right now. Each of these changes can take us in different directions. We can feel sorry for ourselves, overwhelmed and miserable, or we can take action toward the future that we actually prefer. Now, if you think back to the previous cycle, when Pluto was in Aquarius, this was the time of the American Revolution. You talk about a lot of changes. Now we have the tools to help us think through the choices that we have today. The next 20 years are the foundation for the next cycle. I want to share what astrology has to say about things like, what is the quest for your specific generation? And within this big scope of things, what is yours to do? And most importantly, how can you design a life that no one could have prepared you for? This is Reality Tools. Let's make it fun.